Alan Watts, a philosopher who bridged Eastern wisdom and Western thought, extends an invitation. It's not a call to retreat from the world, to isolate ourselves in quiet contemplation, but rather a challenge to engage with life more fully, more authentically. He asks us to dive into the depths of our experiences, but to do so without clinging, without grasping at permanence in a world of constant change. Letting go, according to Watts, isn't about renouncing the richness of our experiences or suppressing the intensity of our feelings. It's not about becoming detached or indifferent. Instead, it's about cultivating a mindset of openness and trust, a willingness to meet life exactly where it is, without resistance or judgment. It's about accepting the ebb and the flow of existence. Imagine holding a delicate bird gently in your open palm. It's free to stay, to rest for a moment, or to take flight whenever it chooses. If you clutch it tightly, trying to possess it, you'll only cause it harm, crushing its spirit and its freedom. From a young age, we're often taught to control our surroundings, to hold on tightly to what we believe is ours, to secure our future through relentless effort and unwavering determination. But this constant need for control, this relentless grasping, often creates tension, anxiety, and an unnecessary struggle against the natural flow of life. We become rigid and inflexible, unable to adapt to the ever-changing circumstances around us. Watts offers a profoundly different way of being, an invitation to participate in life's intricate dance with a light touch, a sense of playful curiosity, and a willingness to surrender to the present moment. It's about learning to love deeply and feel intensely, without allowing ourselves to be consumed by our desires, our fears, or our attachments. It's about finding a balance between engagement and detachment. It's about cultivating a deep trust in the inherent process of life, recognizing its inherent intelligence and unfolding beauty. It's about trusting in our own innate resilience, our capacity to adapt and overcome, rather than trying to micromanage every single detail of our existence. Picture yourself standing in a rushing river. You can choose to fight against the powerful current, expending all your energy and quickly becoming exhausted, or you can choose to relax, to surrender to the flow, and become one with the river's natural movement, allowing it to carry you effortlessly downstream. This is the very essence of letting go, an active and engaged presence in the present moment, a joyful participation in the unfolding drama of life, free from the shackles of resistance and the burden of control. Watts doesn't offer us a rigid set of rules or a prescriptive path to follow. Instead, he provides us with a mirror, a reflective surface that allows us to glimpse our own inner wisdom, our own inherent capacity for understanding and peace. The profound freedom we seek, the liberation from suffering and anxiety, is not found by attempting to change the external world to fit our desires, but rather by transforming our internal relationship to it, by shifting our perspective and embracing the present moment with acceptance and gratitude. This is a transformative journey, a movement away from anxious grasping and possessiveness, and towards a state of open-handed presence, a willingness to receive life in all its fullness, with both its joys and its sorrows. Our struggle to let go often stems from a fundamental misunderstanding, a deeply ingrained illusion. It begins with a mistaken identity. We see ourselves as isolated egos, separate from the world around us. We build walls, both physical and mental, reinforcing this sense of separation. Watts eloquently calls this the skin-encapsulated ego, a lonely fragment adrift in a vast ocean, constantly trying to defend itself against perceived threats. It's a limited perspective, a constricted view of reality. But look closer. Dare to question this perceived separation. The very air you breathe, the food that nourishes you, and the radiant light that sustains you are all intrinsically inseparable from you. They are not external resources, but integral components of your being. You are not a stranger in the universe, an alien observer looking in from the outside. You are the universe itself, a unique and irreplaceable pattern woven into its grand tapestry. You are a vital thread in the cosmic design. Realizing this profound truth dissolves the illusion of fear and diminishes the compulsive need to control everything around you. When we truly sense our deep and unbreakable interconnectedness with all things, the urge to cling so tightly begins to soften. We recognize that we are not separate entities, but life itself, expressing itself in countless forms. This isn't just an abstract intellectual idea to ponder, but a deeply felt visceral experience. The gentle caress of the wind on your skin, the shared breath and silent communication with a tree. Letting go of the illusion of a fixed and isolated self opens us to the boundless richness and beauty of the present moment. The world ceases to be a hostile or indifferent place, and instead becomes our true home, a sanctuary to cherish and protect, not a territory to conquer and exploit. Let me pause for a moment. If you are already finding this content helpful, I would appreciate your support by liking this video, subscribing to this channel, and sharing it with anyone whom you feel could benefit. Now, back to our topic. Desire is a fundamental aspect of the human experience, a natural impulse that drives us forward. It shapes our goals, fuels our ambitions, and colors our perceptions of the world around us. But clinging to it, grasping tightly to our desires, often brings suffering. The act of holding on too tightly creates a sense of unease, a fear of loss, and ultimately, a disconnect from the present moment. Alan Watts, the renowned philosopher, reveals a profound paradox. The harder we chase happiness, or love, or any desired outcome, the more elusive it becomes. It's as if the very act of pursuit pushes our desires further away, creating a cycle of longing and disappointment. The more it slips away, like water squeezed in a fist, the tighter we grip, the more we lose. This principle applies not only to tangible objects, but also to abstract concepts like happiness and fulfillment. Fulfillment comes not from force, not from relentless striving, but from shifting our relationship to desire. It requires a subtle but powerful shift in perspective. It's not about suppressing wants or denying our natural inclinations, but observing them with gentle awareness. It's about acknowledging their presence without getting swept away by their intensity. When we stop forcing outcomes, when we release our grip on the future, space opens for something new, something unexpected, something perhaps even more fulfilling than what we initially desired. The more we chase, the more we block what we seek. Our efforts become counterproductive, creating resistance and hindering our progress. But if we relax, if we surrender to the flow of life, what we desire may come naturally, effortlessly, as a natural consequence of our openness and receptivity. Letting go isn't an act of will. You can't force surrender, for that's just more clinging. True surrender arises from a deeper understanding of the nature of desire itself. Instead, simply notice the grasping, the tension, the subtle anxieties that arise when we cling to our desires without judgment. In this awareness, clinging loosens on its own, like a knot gently untying itself. Trust that when we stop meddling, when we allow things to unfold naturally, harmony emerges. The universe has its own intelligence, its own way of orchestrating events. Like falling asleep, you can't force it. The more you try, the more elusive it becomes. You create the right conditions, a comfortable environment, a sense of safety and relaxation, then let go, trusting that sleep will come in its own time. Cultivate awareness, nurture a sense of inner peace, and allow peace to arise in its own time. What we seek is often already here, beneath the struggle, waiting to be discovered in the stillness of the present moment. Our anxiety comes from believing we must control everything, careers, relationships, even our emotions. Watts saw this as exhausting and futile, like steering a log already carried by the river. Control is mostly an illusion. Life is too complex to manage fully. True freedom is found not in tightening our grip, but in letting go. Surrender is not defeat, but trust in the larger process of life. When we stop fighting the current, we move with it, gaining real power and energy. Letting go of control opens us to spontaneity, adaptability, and a deeper harmony with life. Everything changes. Seasons, relationships, our own bodies. Watts taught that our fear of impermanence, especially death, keeps us from truly living. We try to freeze moments, but life is transformation. Impermanence gives life its beauty. A note is beautiful because it ends, a blossom precious because it fades. Accepting change lets us appreciate each moment fully. The present is all we ever have. The future never truly arrives. Embracing this, we live more bravely and love more openly. Holding both life and death, we find peace in the rhythm of change. Letting go is hardest and most rewarding in relationships. We often cling out of fear, mistaking it for love, but this suffocates connection. True love, Watts says, is like music. You savor each note, then let it go. To love someone is to appreciate their freedom to change and grow. Detached love is not cold. It's the warmest care, free from neediness. When we let go, we see and support others as they are, not as we wish them to be. This creates resilient, vibrant connections based on mutual freedom. Trusting the connection, we accept change as natural, not as failure. In this spaciousness, authentic intimacy flourishes. Integrating letting go into daily life brings ease and flow. In work and creativity, attachment to outcomes creates anxiety and blocks us. Letting go frees us to play, experiment, and do our best work. Even in traffic or daily frustrations, acceptance brings peace. Detachment is meeting reality as it is, not fighting it. A relaxed mind hears intuition and insight more clearly. We become gardeners, preparing the soil and letting wisdom grow naturally. Like water, we flow around obstacles, yielding yet strong. Trusting life, we find freedom not in control, but in letting go. This is the effortless grace Alan Watts points to, being carried by the ever-flowing current of being. If you found this content helpful, I would appreciate your support by liking this video, subscribing and sharing it with anyone whom you feel could benefit. Thank you for watching. Be and live in love and peace.